there is a case exactly on point, which I was talking about before, which is the one Kim Ark case, where a person was born in the United States to Chinese parents, and he left the country, and they tried to stop him from coming back in. So since that time, the question has been considered settled. And this is called, what the issue is in this case is, are you subject to the jurisdiction of the United States if you were born to someone, let's say, with a green card or someone who is here illegally? And just, it's been settled for so long. And that's why during the oral arguments, I mean, Justice Kagan brought up the fact that the Trump side was using things like a speech at Lincoln's funeral to try to substantiate their argument. I mean, before this, you really hadn't heard that much about birthright citizenship being unconstitutional. So it would have taken the Supreme Court a lot to come here and say, no, we're overturning that 100-year-old law, which they've overturned a 90-year-old decision yesterday. So, I mean, they could do it, and they have done things like that. So, but still, it would have taken a lot. And also, just as Alexa said before, it goes to the concept of being an American citizen, and what does that mean? And also, how would it, some of the justices said, how would this work in practicality? Do you give birth to a baby, you bring your, birth certificate or your passport with you, and then, I mean, how would it work logically?
Would it have been retroactive or to children born after the decision? I guess we don't know.
They say that it wouldn't have been retroactive, but the people who were fighting it said, how can you say that? It might have been. I mean,
right.
the law, think about what's been happening for all these years with the Dreamers who were, they're still, people agree that they should get citizenship, but still there's no path for them to get citizenship. And they're all
been so
living
long.
in this. Yeah, really, you would think. So imagine what would happen if all of a sudden you said, okay, no baby born here is an American citizen. I mean, it would really cause an upheaval. I've got to say, though, that Trump today, I saw that he, on his Truth Social, said there are other ways to do this, which is, and they've tried. By the way, Lindsey Graham years ago, offered a birthright citizenship elimination bill. And it has happened, but, to get support in the Congress, to get support for anything in the Congress right now, but especially that, would be very unpopular because most Americans, according to polls, believe in this. It's the way it's the way we've always understood it. So
I want to welcome back Leon Fresco. He's an immigration attorney at Holland and Knight. So, Leon, we did get the headline, the news that the Supreme Court strikes down Trump's birthright citizenship curbs. Do we know whether it strikes it down at the case level, the case law level, or does it go towards back to the Constitution saying, hey, this is in the Constitution?
I am shocked because there are justices who are willing to say it's actually in the Constitution, and that's the end of the story there, that people who are born, even if their parents are unlawfully here, are quote unquote subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And that means that now, unless some future Supreme Court tried to change this, or alternatively, Congress passed a constitutional amendment, this is going to mean that birthright citizenship is what we've historically understood as, which is everybody born here is a citizen unless our parents are diplomats, essentially, or some other very, very, very discrete categories, but that doesn't apply to most people.
Leon, this morning before this decision came down, President Trump took to Truth Social, and he said Trump's efforts to reverse birthright citizenship may succeed with or without the Supreme Court. I mean, what could he do at this point? I would think his hands are tied. So what are the avenues he might take?
I think what they will do is they will try to limit the kinds of things that people have access to when they are the children who are born here in the United States of undocumented people. So, for instance, there's a law that says that if you are born here when you turn 21, you can petition for your parents to get green cards. I think they will try to say, no, we're not going to process those applications, or we will refuse them. And I think they will try to do things like that to try to gum up the works, basically say, we're going to make it as hard as possible to reward this situation of someone being born here and being given all of the categories of citizenship citizenship. But at the end, citizenship is citizenship. And I think that all of those will just have collateral challenges. But I do think they will try to say, look, we're doing other things to shrink the package of benefit that accompanies being someone who's born to it.
Do you think they might step on health care? Because that's a given right as a citizen. If you're a newborn here to immigrants and now you are a U.S. citizen, I'd imagine you'd still be able to get your health care for your child.
Every one of those things that is accompanied to a citizen is be a right ultimately, but does that mean that the Trump administration won't try to find ways to say, hey, if your parents are this, you can't get this, and try to, but like I say, diminish the package of what someone who's born here to undocumented parents can get? I think they will try. I just don't think any of those efforts will ultimately be successful after litigation.
So, Leon, what do you think about the split here? It's 6-3, but there are so many concurrences and dissenting in part and concurring in part. Are you surprised that there were 3 justices? That would be Alito is no surprise, Thomas is no surprise, and Gorsuch, I don't know. Those are the 3 most, I would say, conservative members of the court. Is it surprised that even on this, they would dissent?
I am a little bit surprised because at the end of the day, I think if you were an honest sort of, and I call the honest judge, the AI judge who you say, okay, if I was a textualist who looked at history and thought that those were the 2 most important things, which is what usually the conservative justices say there are, how do I write this opinion? You would be essentially almost ethically sanctioned for saying that a president could write an executive order that overcame the Constitution. It wouldn't make any sense. So I do think you have to look at this again as people trying to say there are logical realities 2026 that may not have existed when the Constitution, or actually whatever, when the 14th Amendment was drafted. And then in 1952, which is that now we have all this birth tourism, and we have other downstream effects from people being born here, undocumented foreign nationals. But at the end, I mean, the Constitution says what it says. You either are a textualist or you are. And I mean, if you're going to say that people who are undocumented are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, then the first thing I would do as a criminal defense lawyer is try to free every undocumented person from prison and say, hey, they all have diplomatic immunity. What are you doing? Get my client out of here. So it just doesn't make any sense.